Look, I'm not an atheist, and I'm not a theist. I'm an agnostic. I don't care whether or not there is or isn't a God. Yeah, sure, I would like the answer. But if it's proven one way or the other, it makes a little difference to me. What I do care about is the thinking process behind atheists and theists' beliefs, and all I see is a bunch of people on both sides believing any argument that supports their beliefs. If you have any thoughts on whether or not there is or isn't a God, then you have an opinion on the subject. Okay? This lack of belief, it doesn't work. Okay? Yes, if you take the meaning, you can adjust it, and you can say that yes, there is a lack of belief, but you can also have to be able to put it back the way the definition was. It has to work both ways. You just can't go around saying believing in zero gods means that I have a lack of belief in gods, and then not put it back the way it was. Oh, no, I just have a lack of belief. Atheism does have a requirement. The requirement is the belief in a lack of deities. Zero, zilch, nada. If you hold the opinion that I have $0, you can say that you lack belief that I have money. Right? Of course. But then you also believe that I have a lack of money. That I have $0. That's your opinion. If you can't prove the existence or the non-existence of God, gods, higher power, or whatever it is you want to call it, then all you have left is your opinion on the subject. And your opinion is what you think. The definition of opinion is a belief, judgment, or way of thinking about something. What someone thinks about a particular thing. If you have no thoughts whatsoever on whether there is a God or not, then you are not an atheist or theist. If you're an atheist, then what you think about gods is there are no gods. What your judgment about gods is there are no gods. What your belief about gods is there are no gods. Babies lack belief in God, just like they also lack belief in anything, because they have no thought whatsoever on the subject, or on any subject. A baby lacks belief in gods, and they also lack belief in the non-existence of gods. They have no opinion on God, and they are not atheists. And if you hold no opinion or lack an opinion, then you are not an atheist. What is so hard to understand about this? Atheists are trying to do two things here. One is to try to separate themselves from theists. Look, we don't have beliefs, okay? We have a lack of belief. That's our point. Even though we believe that Darwinism is true, we still have a lack of belief. Even though we have beliefs, we lack belief. And that's all I've been saying a lot, is just that if you have a lack of belief in something, then you believe that the opposite is true of somebody's claim. If a person makes statement X, person A makes statement X, person B will say myself. I either can believe that that statement is true, or I can believe that that statement is false. Now, if you can prove that the statement is true or false, well, then there's no argument, is there? If you can prove that there is or isn't a God, then there's no argument. But if you can't, then it comes down to belief. Which do you believe is more likely? What's your opinion? It's like the burden of proof. And the burden of proof is the other thing that theists are trying to do. What they're trying to do with burden of proof and with the lack of belief argument is that they're trying to shoulder the responsibility of proof onto the theists. Now, there either is or there isn't a God. If you can't prove one or the other, then all you have left is a belief. If a person wants to demonstrate that atheism is true, an atheist would have to provide additional evidence that there is no God, just as a defense attorney would have to provide further evidence to show his client is innocent, as opposed to being just not guilty. He can't simply say the arguments for the existence of God are failures and then rest his case. It just doesn't work like that. You either know something is true or false on a subject, and if you don't know if that subject is true or false, then all you have left is an opinion, what you think, what your judgment is. And that's all atheism is, a judgment, a worldview, what you think on the subject of God. If you have a lack of belief in God, then you're saying that you have no opinion. If you have no opinion, then you're not an atheist. A theist can simply also say, well, I lack belief in existence without something being responsible for it. That something having a conscious decision being made. He can say he lacks belief in everything that atheism stands for, can't he? Everybody can say that they lack belief in something. What does it mean that I believe the opposite is true? You can also go around saying that trees technically lack an education. Well, technically that would be true, but who goes around saying that? Rocks lack education. The argument that trees and rocks lack belief in God is true. But then the atheists say, well, no. The ism part of atheism refers to people. Right. But if dogs, trees, or rocks had an opinion on the subject of God, and they rejected that opinion and believed that that statement was false, then they would be some form of atheist, wouldn't they? It all comes down to opinion.